Hello everybody, welcome back. We're playing more Magic the Gathering. It's the final round and we get to play first. We have a decent hand here. This may actually look funny, but we can... Oh my god, maybe I'm lying to you. No, we're good. I'm not going to mulligan this. This is one of those I got a good feeling moments. The feeling could be entirely wrong, but I got a good feeling about it. Sometimes you got to trust your feelings. Other times you got to second guess them and make them think that they're wrong. But we will be getting... I think we're going to get Bayou with this. I got a feeling that Bayou's the card we want. Take a look at our opponent's hand. Discover that they're going to show and tell on the first turn, dropping Emrakul into play. And then we just bang! And waste their 2-land. It'd be funny if that's what actually happens. Calling it now. So far, every time that I'm like, hey, look, I could really use, like the last 4 tournaments, it's just like, ding! So I think maybe that could be a thing. We're still waiting on our opponent here. I disappeared for a little bit. They get to disappear for a little bit. It's only fair. I mean, you can't. You're playing online. You could be worlds away. I don't mean like literally like Earth to Mars. I mean like where I am in the world as opposed to where you are in the world. So I guess that's not exactly a world away. I had half a mind to click that. So yeah, let's go ahead and duress. Find out that we're gonna get wastelanded and then draw out of it. Ooh, ant. Let's see. What do we want that just to get it out of there. When our opponent fetches, they're gonna find out that their single land hand is I guess double land is not going to be the greatest. This is going to be completely dead, and we need a white source or another black card. So, yeah, that's where we're sitting. Combo deck. Not exactly the greatest matchup for us, especially with us having cut a combo hate card out of the board. By the way, I am still in bed. I'm getting back underneath the covers. I've managed to get up between rounds every time and do stuff. Alright, so we're going to get to set them back, and they don't know it yet. Duress will take Liliana. Hopefully we draw another discard spell. That'd be pretty awesome. But we at least get to set them back. We know most of their hand and can adjust accordingly. I think actually landing this Goyf would be the most important thing, and then next turn. Because they have Ponder, Land, LED, and X. I think it's an X. Let me see. They played the Scalding Tarn, LED, Tarn, or LED, Ponder, which the Ponder just went. There's the Delta, and that leaves them with 2 cards that we don't know. Yeah. Well, I guess 3. Well, I don't think 3 is possible. I think I'm doing this wrong. I left them with Ponder, LED, Scalding Tarn, Duress, Delta. Of that, we've seen Duress. Wow, that's bold. So we're gonna get in there. I really hope you've got this. Because if you haven't figured this out yet, this is about to get really, really ugly really, really fast. Knock you back to 0 lands. I got a 4/5 Goyf. Gonna go get a little 1/1. Yep. And bang. We'll F6 just to save time. The good thing is that when you F6, it stops during the combat request. So, like, you're asked whether or not you want to attack with anything, or if you want to block with anything. So if you're not going to be doing anything until after that point, you can F6. As long as you have a creature, it'll ask you. Then you can F3 at that point. And F3 is the cancel for all auto yields, by the way. So you get the ability to go for different things. We still do know that he's got an LED. Let's see, what would be very, very, very good? That's not a black source. Anybody else confused? Okay, so my opponent conceded. We were going to get to play our knight, and I would have played the knight so that I could go fetch the bog. Probably has abrupt decays. We do have 2 Teagues, so that's a good thing. As soon as this loads up, maybe I need to do this. Where is everything? One moment. Always fun when that happens. We're not able to sideboard, so yeah. We could be in trouble for this game. Hopefully we'll be able to get it back game 3. I don't know why these sideboarding problems keep happening, but definitely not my favorite part of the game. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and pause this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this hand doesn't really do anything ever. So we're going to keep this one. Not the greatest feeling in the world about it, but still whoop. Managed to knock everything over. Still a better feeling about this than Twilight. So, yeah. He'll be able to see our hand. Are you going off on the first turn is the question. Can you go off on the first turn? If not, I'm going to Thoughtseize you. Cabal Therapy, naming Thoughtseize. Well, that's going to suck. Then I guess I'm going to Wasteland you. And we'll go from there. Good combo, by the way. Comes in very handy. I mean, if they had seen like a Force of Will, I'm going to use it at that point because it's what you're going to call. Yeah, you call Thoughtseize. So I've essentially mulliganed to 3. Him to 6. Not exactly the worst situation, though. I think we can still pull this out right now. Without knowing anything else, I think we're still okay. I'm going to go ahead and waste him. Back a land. I know, I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to get 3 draws to find a second land. And maybe we'll be able to catch him trying to do something funny with LEDs. It's a possibility. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out yet. In this situation, had I had a surgical extraction, I definitely would have taken those. But we will have next game for some of this stuff as well, provided we get to sideboard. Sideboarding is actually very key in Legacy, whereas in other formats it may not be as important. Let me readjust this a little bit here. All right. Where like Standard, for example, the decks are very, very linear in Standard. There's no real way to change. Like if you're attacking up front, there's no real way to like say, oh, well, I've been beating down this door for a while. I'm going to sneak in the side entrance. This is what Legacy allows for. Like even decks like this where it's like, okay, well, I'm hoarding all these cards up in my hand and you've been beating down my front door. And my typical plan is to open up my front door and unleash on you. Well, I'm going to do this funny side thing and sneak out the side and use my graveyard as my hand. Whereas in Standard, it's like, well, I'm beating down your front door. How do you deal with this? Can you deal with it? Yes. Okay, now you're beating down my front door. You're like, I'm using the mouse. And it's just this back and forth in the middle section. Modern starts to deviate off to the sides a little bit, where it's like, okay, well, I'm beating down your front door. Well, I'll veer off and kind of, but along the same line. And Legacy's just like, all right, well, here's this thing. And then there's Vintage. And Vintage is actually very interesting because it goes back to a Standard thing where it's like, I'm beating down your front door. Except for it's like, well, my wall is made of platinum with lead backing and Superman in front. So good luck. I actually don't know how hard those other ones are, but I didn't feel like saying steel or diamond. So, yeah. If somebody else is more familiar with the molecular densities of those objects, feel free to comment, although I'm pretty sure the rest of us are just going to look at you and go, uh-huh, okay, well, that analogy was meant to just say some hard stuff. And now I feel bad if you're in molecular biology. I'd love another Wasteland. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Alright, I need an adult. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to go get the Bayou and then go get the little guy. So now we can play Bob. Beyond that, I think we're going to want to keep up the decay the next turn. Clock is not really happening right now. That's really bad for us. He's going to have 5 cards in hand at the end of it and getting rid of 2 cards that he doesn't want, probably being able to go off next turn. Maybe we keep up the decay. Does he know about the decay? No. No, I think we drew the decay. What did he, when he called Thoughtseize, he saw Thoughtseize, Wasteland, Confidant. Okay. So if I draw a Wasteland, the best option would be to play the Bobbly and waste off the Black Source. I think I'm still just going to do this. Why not? I mean, we didn't get a chance to sideboard. He's got a lot of lands. He's got a lot of everything. He should be pretty much ready to go at this point. Let's just get him down there. We can beat across for 2. Hopefully we hit a land. We'll pretend like we didn't get anything. And be able to do stuff from there. Show me tuna salad. Well, there went that idea of trying to fake like we didn't have anything. Looks like he's going off. And with this, he should have known to play the LED last. I've F6'd if you're wondering why he's not having to show anything. Does he just have it in hand? Nope, preordain. Maybe he just needed to get rid of this, in which case he's looking for a land or another 0-drop or a ramp spell. And then he can Infernal Tutor, go get... Well, really that is the question. Like, Past in Flames doesn't do it. Well, Past in Flames would do it. But if he's got that main deck, that could be a problem. He may have just accidentally started going off and not intended to. Put card on bottom of library, put card on top. So he found one thing that he likes. Okay. Oh, there's the Past in Flames. Hey, look. There's those. So, can you do it from here? I don't actually see you having anything else. Ah, he's got the tendrils in hand. Okay, storm count equals 11. We'll just concede. I like that it tells you that now. Like, that's awesome. To just be like, the storm is 11. Can you survive? Okay. Let's change that to a way that I actually feel is visible and usable. We do get to actually board this time, which is kind of nice. Let's see, do that, do this, do this. Elspeth is going to be too slow. Sigarda is going to be too slow. Fire Ice is going to be too slow. These plows are going to be unnecessary. The Mystics are not going to be the greatest. Let's see how many more. We've got one more spot. And that one is going to actually go to this Mazavith. Bang. So, here's our deck. Yep, I want to play first. And yes, I do want to keep this hand. So, no, I don't want to mulligan. I just realized that it does not have a black source, which is what I thought it did have. We can at least get Deathrite out there right away. From there, we can make a decision on what we do. We could Wasteland him, and then the next turn, Wasteland him, and use Deathrite, eat his land, Zenith for Bird. If we Zenith for Bird, then we don't get a chance to Zenith for Teague. Interesting situation. I think I may have done that. Oh well. You can hear the garbage truck outside, and if you can, I'm sorry. It's garbage day. What do you want me to say? And apparently this is the time that they come. I never actually realized that. I don't think it's in any of the other ones either. Is it? Who knows? It would only be the ones that record on Thursday. By the way, I have one day to decide about how I'm getting down to Kansas City and if I get to go. Hotel room is already booked. A friend of mine works for hotel industry, so she helped me out there. And I used to. When I was actually traveling for Magic, I used to actually work for a hotel industry, and it's an interesting thing. I don't really know how to explain it outside of that. Our opponent is thinking. I'm going to pause it because I'm going on a rant. Alright, we're back. Our opponent dropped down Leyline. It sucks because there's really only two ways to get rid of it, and that means that we have one dead card guaranteed. But what we can do is we can go get Teague and go from there. Liliana will still bypass the ley line. We just can't target him with the sacrifice everything. But if we can get his hand size down, I don't think we have to worry about that too much. Other things that we may end up doing, we may just hit in for one, depending on what he does here, which is nothing. Okay. Okay. Well then, if he's not going to do anything, I think I'm just going to play this Goyf and get in for one. And we'll hope that our opponent doesn't kill us next turn. Are we dead? Doesn't look like we're dead. Land me, land me, land me. Land, yay. So Goif is still going to be small. Let's just go ahead and go get this little guy. Okay. Was actually hoping that he'd fetch end of turn, but he did not. The black isn't as much of an issue right here. So that's one thing. And I think this is a situation where I actually would have preferred having the birds just because, yeah, it would have been a birds. But we do get to go get Teague. And we can go across for one still. Probably should have played Mystic. Mystic could have gotten Batterskull. Batterskull could have done its own little chores. Let us see. What are we getting now? A fetch land would be nice. I think if I got a fetch land, I would fetch Thoughtseize me, discard the Shaman, and then play the Mystic, getting the Batterskull. Nope. But we got stuff. I'd say end things, but I think I've used that enough. Yes. I'd like to use this ability. Let's go get the Batterskull out of the deck. We can get in. So let's see. We still need a black source. I think I will actually play this. It makes a storm count only have to get to 8, but he's got to be able to deal with the Teague as well. And right now we're going to be hitting for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So half his life total. He's got a lot of lands. Another one of those. Well, let's go ahead and draw a card. Knight of the Reliquary. Knight's not going to do it. If I keep these, then we hit for 4. But we should be hitting a little bit harder next turn. Yeah. And next turn I can Thoughtseize my knight. Oh, wait, I'm thinking that he's at 10 life. My opponent conceded. They must not have had any way to deal with the Teague in hand. So next turn, end of turn, we drop the Batterskull. We draw a Wasteland. Let's see, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, yeah, that's lethal if it gets back to me. He must not have been able to do it. So even with the game glitching on us, we still pulled this out. We have pulled it off. We are now 3-1, and that is the end of the daily. This is a bad matchup, and I have no problem admitting that. It's a bad matchup for most of the non-blue decks, and it's simply because the deck is super resilient, actually, to discard. You'd be surprised, although it appears that this opponent thought that they were a lot more susceptible to it. Most of the test players that I find actually just don't even care. They just go about their business, keep doing what they're doing, and if the discard comes, it comes, and they usually just combo off on like turn 3 or 4, which is way faster than I can actually provide a clock. Zoo is one of those decks where it can turn 3 you. Burn is a deck that can turn 3 you, so they actually present a racing feature here, and it's something that a lot of the test players have to be aware of. But Zoo is no longer really in the format because everybody's scared of whatever. I mean, if you've ever had a deck that preyed on everybody for being idiots, it was Zoo. And what I mean by that is that Zoo was able to prey on people for the simple fact that you stumbled. You stumbled and played the wrong land. You stumbled and drew dead for a turn. And suddenly Zoo was just like down your throat. And you were on such the back foot that it didn't even matter anymore. You were out of the game. So why people aren't playing that deck, I don't know. I understand Miracles is a thing. Doesn't matter. Play a Teague in your Zoo build. It's not like he can't be supported. Play a Thalia. I know that some builds were playing Thalias. And, I mean, think about if you've got a 3/4 Goyf and they're at 6 life, it's like you swing in and then you Boros Charm. Your Goyf can eventually become bigger than the damage that would be dealt. Boros Charm. Your creatures are indestructible. What's that, a decay? Oh, looks like I took care of your decay. Can you still deal with my guys? No? Okay, die then. Like, all small things that they can do. Speaking of Zoo, though, it's one of those decks that immediately everybody's like, well, it's terrible because you're playing Loam Lines and stuff. And there are alternate cards that you can play. I mean, it's not like Noctil's is the only thing. I think there's a hidden something that whenever you play, an opponent would play a non-basic land, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, that it becomes a 3/3 instead of an enchantment, and it costs like 1 green mana. So it's not like there aren't multiple 3/3s for one. Your only problem becomes when you end up playing like High Tide, in which case you side those out. It's not like it matters. Yeah. So we're going to end it here. This match is over. I hope you guys have enjoyed. We're finally back on the winning streak, and I will see you all again next time. Bye-bye.